Are you curious what the best secret neighborhoods are in Chicago? Some neighborhoods that you might have never heard of. Well, in this video, I am going to break down the top 5 carefully selected neighborhoods after living here for nearly a decade and helping dozens of clients get into homes all over the city. This will not include neighborhoods that most people will already know right off the bat. Places like River North, the West Loop, Gold Coast, the Loop, North Side go-tos like Lincoln Park and Lakeview. These are already too obvious. People already know about these. In this, we're getting into those deep cuts, okay? The ones that you wouldn't really know about unless you've already been here a while or know somebody who knows somebody. So in this video, we're going to be sticking with the north and northwest side neighborhoods mostly. That does not mean that other areas of the city don't have their own gems. That just means that you'll have to wait for another video. We've got a lot to share with you, so stay tuned as you do not want to miss this one. Hey everyone, Jake Lyons with @Properties, bringing you well-informed, data-driven content. As always, if you are in the market and need some guidance, you can book a call with me over Zoom or in person or over the phone, however you want to do it, using the Calendly link in the description below. Or you can visit thechicagohomesource.com and see the most recently updated listings in these areas that I cover in this video and all across the city. So enough of that, let's get right into it. The first neighborhood I want to talk about is the Southport Corridor. Blink and you'll miss it. The Southport Corridor is technically a part of Lakeview, just west of the vastly more well-known Wrigleyville. It's this little buffer zone between the liveliness of the rest of Lakeview before you start getting into the more neighborhoody vibe of North Center. Once you get off the Southport stop, just head north and you'll run into all sorts of phenomenal shopping with stores that are usually only found in malls. Places like Abercrombie and Anthropologie, among lots of others kind of in that realm, as well as a huge selection of restaurants of all kinds: sushi, pizza, empanadas, Argentinian, Italian, and more. Besides shopping and eating, one of the biggest draws to this area are the theaters. The Music Box Theater brings big name acts all the time, and the Mercury Theater next door is known to host some of the most popular and entertaining stage theater in the city. And of course, one of the biggest draws is the very popular Blaine Elementary School located on the north end of the neighborhood. Living here doesn't come cheap though. The median sales price for all single-family homes is pushing about $650,000 right now as of the recording of this, and the area has seen some really great growth over the last handful of years. If you want a single-family detached house in this area, expect to pay at least $2 million. Next neighborhood we need to go into is Andersonville. Andersonville is a traditionally Swedish neighborhood located within the area of Edgewater on the north side, where you can still find the Swedish American Museum, but it has grown into an area known for all kinds of eclectic culture and general artsiness. To contrast the last neighborhood we talked about that had lots of great shopping, but among bigger, more kind of corporate stores, Andersonville is the ultimate #shop local destination. Places like the Buffalo Exchange and the Purple Elephant, which are very popular thrift and consignment shops, kind of far from your typical Goodwills. Also stores like Enjoy and the Andersonville Galleria that features all kinds of local artists, Strange Cargo, comic book stores, Alamo Shoes. The list goes on of all kinds of fun and interesting places to check out. As per usual in most Chicago neighborhoods, the food scene of Andersonville is pretty special, offering some of the absolute best cafes, Mediterranean restaurants, sushi, bar food, and of course, Swedish. The average price for a single-family home is right around $425,000 at the time of recording. Of course, depending on what type of place you're looking at, a 2-bed condo right now will run about $350,000, but a house will likely be north of $1 million. The next neighborhood is Wicker Park. Wicker Park may not count so much as a hidden gem anymore, as it's rapidly becoming one of Chicago's most popular neighborhoods among people in the know. But being as how it's still not exactly known to those outside of Chicago, at least I don't think, I think it still counts for our discussion. Simply put, Wicker Park is basically Chicago's Brooklyn. Very similar vibes as described to me by people with deep knowledge of both areas. I personally have only spent about one combined afternoon in Brooklyn, so I can't claim to be an authority on this, but my one little bit of experience there did confirm the comparison. Located about 4 miles northwest of the downtown loop, Accessible via the Blue Line or obviously by car, Wicker Park is known for just having endless options for things to do. Lots of cool vintage shops and old school record stores, shopping covered from the Lululemon types of stores to the vintage mom and pops and everything in between. Bars with about every theme you could ever want, from arcade bars, classic sports bars, speakeasies, cocktail lounges, comedy clubs, even an indoor putt-putt bar that I went to for my birthday last year. Every kind of food, from Michelin star rated places to some of the best tacos and street food places in the city, maybe even in the world. Tons of brunch spots competing for your mimosa and Bloody Mary cravings. The list goes on. Cafes, gourmet coffee, I mean, everything you could want. Proximity to the new 606 walking trail. Farmers markets, as close to the highway, as close to public transportation. It's a little overwhelming almost just how awesome of a neighborhood Wicker Park is. The average home across all types in Wicker Park is going for about $560,000 at the moment of recording. The median for a 2-bed condo is right about $440,000. But if you want a detached house in this neighborhood, the median is sitting at about $1.4 million, which all of these are a relative bargain if you're comparing them to the real Brooklyn. The next neighborhood on the list is Roscoe Village. Not that Roscoe Village doesn't know how to party when the occasion calls for it, don't get me wrong, as evidenced by the annual Burger Fest and some other nice big street festivals that they do each year. But by and large, Roscoe Village is a very calm and collected village within a city kind of vibe, as it indicates right there in its name. You can find some nice French restaurants, jazz shows, some sports bars, interesting fusion restaurants, and more. Located pretty close to the highway, lots of convenient shopping and grocery stores, Lincoln Park and Lakeview to the immediate east. It's close enough to all the action without feeling like you need to be in the middle of it all the time. The average price across all single-family homes in Roscoe Village, accounting for seasonal changes, is at about $585,000. You could expect to pay about $400,000 for a 2-bed condo, and the average detached house will run you about $1.3 million. The last neighborhood I'll turn my focus to in this video is Lincoln Square. Not to be confused with Lincoln Park or Logan Square. Lots of variations of different things. I may be a bit biased here, but Lincoln Square is area that I personally called home for almost 8 years now. Well, simply put, Lincoln Square is just a nice place to live. It's another one of those areas that has that village within a city kind of vibe. The square itself is always a very nice situation, often with live music playing as people are just hanging out with their ice cream and coffees from local establishments. Home to one of the best Mexican restaurants in the city, Garcia's, along with countless other gyms like the Warbler, Luella's, Southern Kitchen, Fork, Roots Pizza, the Rooftop on top of Jeans, which is actually one of the coolest neighborhood grocery store deli type of places that you'll ever see. And just lots of interesting local shopping too, lots of nearby parks. You could walk along the river from here all the way to the northern suburbs if you wanted to. It's actually a traditionally German neighborhood. Some of the more popular German restaurants and places like that have unfortunately closed in recent years, but it does still hang on to some of that culture by hosting an annual May Fest and Oktoberfest that always brings in thousands of people every time they do it. Right now, the single family home median across all property types sits at about $350,000. Median 2-bed would run you about $300,000, and a single family detached house is sitting at around $800,000, but that does depend pretty heavily on how actually close you are to the square itself and the Western Brown Line stop. What are your favorite areas in Chicago? I want to know. Put it in the comments.